This behaviour has never been seen before in the wild. If this was a Hollywood film, it would be Love Actually versus Tremors.
It's an interesting story because it contains a lot of elements that people are interested in, right? It contains sex and evolution.
I was just in the aquarium. I cleaned the entire system so it was spotless. I came back like an hour later and I looked at the water and it was like a soup. It's like, what have you guys been up to? I've just cleaned this tank. So I got a little bit closer. I realised the animals were just in this spawning frenzy. They were wrestling, they were jousting, siphons going everywhere. They were basically just competing to mate.
In bivalves, it's very unusual to see this kind of competitive mating behavior.
Yesterday you used the word pseudocopulation.
Right, it's a good Scrabble word, right. So copulation is usually found in what we think of as higher organisms like birds and mammals and reptiles, and they have a special organ, a copulatory organ. But in this case, they're using a feature that all shipworms have, the siphon.
The siphon is basically what the animals use to bring in water inside their body cavity and then expel water and waste. So it's not a reproductive organ. Yet these animals have figured out how to use this organ and basically use it to transfer sperm. So that's why it's called pseudocopulation. It's not true copulation. They're not using sex organs. I knew shipworms perform this type of copulation. This has been known for a number of years. It's the competitive nature that we've really described for the first time. There were no good photos. There was absolutely no video of it. So I had to record it, I had to document it. What's happening here is you've got one animal that's actually put its siphon inside the siphon of another animal and it's transferring sperm. And if you look really closely at that thick siphon in the middle, you'll actually see there's a change in contrast very quickly. That's the sperm. So that's the animal bringing in sperm to its body cavity. I'm not saying male or female here because we don't know what sex these animals are. They're protandrous, simultaneous and rhythmic hermaphrodites, so they can be anything at any time. This is my absolute favourite sequence. You see that the one on the right is basically worming its way, sneaking its way up. It's trying to perform pseudocopulation. And the other one on the left just comes over, blocks straight away, just bats it away.
And in this case, what you could imagine is maybe the ones with the longer siphons have an advantage, right? Maybe growing larger makes it more likely to have reproductive success. We even see situations where one shipworm will scrape off and clean the sperm off of another siphon. So that's a really pretty complex behavior for a clam.
Organisms face many, many different challenges. Where can I get food? How can I not be food? How do I reproduce? How do I pass on my genes? So what these animals are doing, they've basically come up with this strategy to try and overcome one of the biggest challenges they face, which is essentially reproduction.
Shipworms are an example of extreme evolution in bivalves. But from a scientific perspective, it's interesting to us because it tells us something about how sex drives evolution and sort of vice versa. It's all about survival. That's what evolution is.